Okay, sorry. You there, Scala?
Hang on.
Sorry, I had a little dog come in with a
You're listening
problem in fact.
to the Trim Radio Network. We cut the bull and serve the truth.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah. Fishing in Florida. Oh yeah. I'm fishing in
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
Good morning, good morning. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, and it's an honor and a privilege to have you join. We do this every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. I swear it's the fastest 2 hours of my life. And this morning I have Carolyn. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Good morning, Miss Carolyn.
Good morning, Riscala. How's everything going today?
Kind of a gloomy, I'm looking at the radar. It's kind of a gloomy over here. A lot of overcast, a lot of activity happening. Seems to be coming from the west to the east. Presently over the Boynton Beach area, Boca Raton area, seems to be some really heavy showers. They seem to be moving towards the north and northwest, but then we have a lot of activity coming from the west, moving to the east. So we're going to be seeing some stuff for a while, it looks like. The overall prediction for the day, it says that we're already up to 80 degrees. Welcome to Florida. Let's see. We look at the marine weather forecast for today. They're calling here in the Palm Beach area. They are calling for winds 5 to 10 knots, seas around 2 feet. So it looks like it's going to be pretty nice to be out there. There are no small craft warnings that I can see anyway. The beaches appear to be minimal riptide. There's not a whole lot of information because it's so early in the morning. But beaches appear to look to be okay as long as you're away from this liquid sunshine, as I like to refer to it. The tides today, the low tide's already happened, 4:54 this morning. Next high tide's going to be at 11:27, so you can listen to the whole show, and right after that you can head out and go fishing. The next low tide will be 5:41 tonight, and the final high tide will be 11:34 tonight. What else have we got going on? We had I mentioned earlier, it's already at 80 degrees, and we're at 8:03 in the morning. It's going to be a warm day today. They're calling for the high to be around 83 degrees. There will be a slight chance of rain later in the afternoon as we get we're still in the southern summer pattern where it warms up and then we have the boomers come out. Did you get to do any fishing this last week, my dear? Are you on mute? Did I lose her?
I was on mute. I apologize. I got to fish twice last week.
Holy smokes.
So the first time we went out was another tournament. It was dragging dead baits, and it was girls. We let the boys fish with us this time, too, so there's 7 of us on board. We ended up getting top lady angler, and we ended up getting heaviest fish in the tournament. So we were really excited by that. And here's the funny thing. Lines were in the water at 7. We caught the wahoo at 7:05. It was in the boat at 7:08 in the morning, and we had nothing the rest of the day.
Wow. So all the excitement happened in the beginning of my preference is if it's going to, do you get bored when they're sitting there just pulling bait, especially if you're pulling bait? If you're not like deep jigging or on a reef or something, you're just pulling bait. It gets boring for me. I know.
It does. Yeah, it does get boring. And this tournament was put on by another one by the offshore angler Pompano Beach, and Trae will be on a little bit later. He kicked our butt, but I'll tell you, it's the other unusual thing was the boat that we fished on then turned into the weigh-in boat. So what we did was we went into this harbor, this Boca Harbor area, we had a scale on this boat, and then we weighed everybody else's fish in too. So it became not only the daily fishing boat, but the party boat from 2 o'clock to 3:30 as everybody came up to us to get weighed in. So
Wow.
we had a lot of good pictures. Yeah,
Cool.
so that was that was a good event. And then I actually got asked to go out and do some kite practice the other day with the fishangler.com. They do an app on, which is for our listeners. You can use this app. It's free anywhere in the country. You can use it as your own personal fishing logbook. So if you catch a fish, you can record it. It's smart enough to know the tide, the sunset, sunrise. You can share your pictures if you'd like with other people, which is great. You can post videos, and you can make a nice group. So it's like a total Facebook for just fishing. It's really, fishangler.com is great. They took me out. We did a little kite practice, and something they never saw happen before. The kites crisscrossed in the sky and then fell out of the sky. It was crazy.
Oh, wow. Fishangler.com. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, fishangler.com. And we've had Captain Mike on once before, and he has the love for teaching children how to fish. And he does a seminar down here in Pompano Beach. But it's amazing. It's an amazing group of people. They're big about community. But I go there and I'll store my pictures. You know, if I want to remember, hey, I caught a dolphin, it'll let you show exactly in the map where you caught it, and you save it as your own digital logbook.
That's cool.
The coolest part.
That's awesome. We have to have him back on again. Have an update on what they're doing with the kids. I have to remember that, fishangler.com. I don't know why I didn't put that on my list here. Okay. I'm writing and talking, obviously. It's not working, so I got to stop writing.
Yeah, and you know what else on that app, too? If you're on your phone, it has weather, like we're looking right now. I'm looking at my sunny beach cam, and it's not so sunny. But, you know, if you had to look at weather, it shows you radar. You can the seasons and the tides, the moon phase, just like Mike Simcoe at kite.com. He's always talking about those moon phases and the ebb tides. It has all that information right there.
That is awesome, and it's free, huh?
Totally free. Like
Cool.
right now, I just clicked on. I went to forecast. It's telling me the wind is 8.1 miles. The barometric pressure, the tidal forecast is now 1.1 feet. The sun is going to be 10 hours and 36 minutes. It's a waning moon. Everything's right there. It's very cool.
Technology constantly, never ceases to surprise me. All of that information, you know what you have to go through just as little as like 20 years ago to get all that info? You couldn't get it all in one place. You'd have to go here and there. God, that's amazing. It really is. Wow. And so while we're speaking about apps, I might as well mention we have an app too. It is the Trim Radio app. You can go to any of the stores and find it, and it is also free. And what we promise with our app is that there's no push notifications, there's no spyware, there's no adware. We don't want access to any of your private info. We just want you to be able to have access to our network. You can find it at, I think, just any of the stores now it's available. It is under the Trim Radio Network, WTRM Radio Network, or WTRM.com. I think we have I think there's a link on the home network page where you can click on to go to where you can find it at the store. I think they put that up. I'm not sure. You can also find us on the TuneIn app. So if you have the TuneIn app, if you tune in to Marina Rock Radio, I get the two of them confused all the time because we were on Yacht Rock and now we're on Marina Rock. If you tune into Marina Rock Radio, you can find us in the mornings on Marina Rock Radio. They're out of Miami. A big thank you to Marina Rock. They are so gracious. They allow us to use their service on Sunday morning. And then, of course, if you're on Facebook, you can go to our Contact Us page, and they'll give you a link to the live server. So several different ways you can listen to us. I thought I'd bring that up while we're talking about apps. Let's see. I think we have, looks like Robert's on. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Staying dry so far.
Yeah, looking like it's not going to stay that way, but...
Looking gloomy over here, my friend. I think from what I'm seeing on the radar,
here.
Yeah, it's covering you as well. So did you get to do any fishing this last week, Robert?
I did a little snook fishing. Other than that, no, I was just happy to have the magazine done and did some other projects I've been putting off around the house. So
Oh, so you were working on the honeydew list.
No, this is a rebuild the back patio list.
Oh my goodness, that is a big job. Wow. So you got to do your sneaky snook fishing, huh?
Yeah, I did that. We went over a couple of nights. Yep.
And
Rob Lord and I went over.
how'd you make out?
Well, we always catch them.
Oh, really?
I found no slot size, but that's not unusual. So
Wow.
everything's either under or over. So.
That's why they swim in schools, Robert. Haven't you figured that out yet?
Yes. But today I'm going to go back into the magazine and I'm going to change the name of page 56 to Riscala's page.
Oh, that's going to tell me about all the tournaments.
Every tournament in the Northern America. So
My goodness.
you
Well,
can
that'll
get the
be
ones
helpful.
on Lake Champlain if you want. So
Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say that's going to be really, really helpful because I'd like to get a little bit more tournament action going. So I can't wait, even traveling.
well, if you go on page 56 in the magazine and just click it, it opens up and there's all of them. So,
Go take a look, Carolyn.
Awesome.
Let me know.
but I will rename that page at some point today. So
Because I'm always asking him, well, what about these tournaments, Robert? Because to me, he has this wide variety of information coming in from, oh my gosh, from everywhere. So he would know. He would be one of the greatest sources I know to tell me about what's going on with regard to the fishing tournament. So he's going to devote a whole
unfortunately,
page.
I do not keep up with tournaments as much as I keep up with people and what's going on and where the fish are.
Yeah.
But this much I can tell you, the mahi are still all over the Keys.
Isn't that crazy? Wow.
Munster Fishing, which is Davy Jones, every day posts a picture just full of mahi.
Wow. That is really unusual, isn't it? I mean, I'm thinking in my memory here, right about now they wouldn't be anywhere near us right now. Am I right, or is
Well, no, they're normally, this time of year, they become really small. I mean, if you find any, you just find little schoolies. This
peanuts,
guy's still
yeah.
finding, 30-pounders out there. So
That's crazy. Wow. And then I remember you
I don't
telling
know
me
if he's got them
something.
pinned or something, but they're out there. So
There is some strange stuff happening, because I remember you telling me, I think it was on the West Coast that they caught some, right? Was it last year, I think it was. On the West Coast they caught
last
dolphins?
year they caught some southwest coast down by Marco Island. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the worst, even more odd one was the one out of Oregon. If that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. It was like
I had
really
a tuna
bizarre.
boat captain send me a couple of pictures of 20-pound mahi he caught tuna fishing off of Oregon.
Yeah, that's bizarre. See, there is some strange things happening, really strange things happening around the planet. It's. I'm wondering if that combination of the hurricanes and then that period where we went through this lockdown phase where there was hardly anybody out there on the water. I wonder if that really had a long-term effect. If it has anything to do with this craziness that we're seeing. It's just really bizarre.
It won't have a long-term effect, but I can tell you they were not fished as much as they were during 2020.
Yeah.
The fishing pressure was not as bad as it has been in the past, obviously.
Yeah.
Especially in the Keys, because the Keys are fished so hard most of the time. I'm sure the mahi enjoyed the 2020 break, and now they think it's a great place to go hang out. But
Wow, that's if you want mahi, to me that truly is the chicken of the sea. You can do. It's pretty hard to mess up when you cook mahi. I mean, I've had it fried, I've had it baked, I've had it barbecued. Every time, whatever way you cook it, it comes out delicious. It's just one of my most favorite fish out there. My gosh. And I found out from Carolyn, it's one of the fastest growing fish. Did you know that, Robert? It's the fastest or one of the fastest? I didn't know that.
Yep.
It's like an inch or 2 inches up to 1 or 2 inches a week. Wow.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. Yeah, some of the stuff. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, going back to the mahi, Chris went out fishing. He was in 60 feet of water. They were bottom dropping. This 40-pound mahi or dolphin came around the boat. They hooked it up for a moment. I don't know, something about it was slippery because they tried gaffing it 10 times and they didn't get it to the boat. And and one of the guys, a novice, put the rod in the rod holder, and that was all that she said. But they said it came right up to the boat.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So when they came back and they asked for Ziploc bags, I thought, wow, they got a lot of bottom fish. They ended up filling only one sandwich bag. I'm like, well, all of that for that?
For one sandwich bag?
One sandwich bag that I was like, well, if that was your all day catch? Come on.
That's not, I would have my tail between my legs and my head down.
Right. I could have put it in a snack pack.
I'm sure the bait probably outweighed the catch. So.
Well, yes, I put it all back in the freezer, so it did.
Oh my gosh. Too much. Well, you can always fish right off the back porch. You can, anyway. You're literally on the water, so if you get bored, you can just go throw a line out into the canal there, right?
Oh, absolutely. And my neighbor has 2 green lights, so I'm not been successfully at catching a snook, but I'm going to give it a shot. And today's a good yucky, cloudy day. I might take my milk crate out there and sit on the dock.
And some hot dogs.
Is the weather supposed to be like this? Have you checked the weather today?
Yeah, it's going to be.
Weather's going to be like this.
Yeah, most of the day they're calling for this.
I haven't checked it yet today, but it doesn't look good. So.
Yeah, most of the day they're
something other than go fishing.
They're calling for.
Here's the crazy.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
What's that?
I was going to say the crazy thing is it's like not sunny, it's not pretty out, but the seas are going to be almost flat calm. So you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't. It's beautiful and sunny, but 5-foot seas, or it's yucky out and flat calm. So.
Oh, I'd take this day. As long as there's no thunderstorms, I would love a day like this out on the water. It's not so hot. This would be great.
Yeah, down near the Boca Raton, Boynton Beach area, there's some heavy thunderstorms coming through. And then we have some on the west coast that are headed towards us. I don't know how long it'll be before they get here, but they're headed our way. So it looks like the majority of the day.
Those will definitely take the fun out of being on the water.
Yeah. It'll be one of those gray days. Remind me of up north, when you're up north, just before it snows, it gets gray. That's what it reminds me of. So we'll have one of the, it won't be a scorcher because they're talking 83 degrees and we're at 81 already. Good gravy. We're already at 81 degrees. So, so at least it won't be a scorcher. There's a good side to it. And as long as, like you said, Robert, as long as we're not having thunderstorms, you can go out there. And Carolyn says it's going to be like glass. So, my gosh, there's still a lot of area.
I love those days.
Yeah, a lot of wiggle room there, right?
Yep.
You can go out and do your thing. So talk to me about the magazine, because you briefly mentioned that. Now it's done and ready to go?
The magazine is done. It is up and is out. There's one more story that just came in. I'll add that next week sometime. And this one will be running until December 20th when the holiday issue comes out. But there's some great stuff in there. Rex Hannon, one of the local guys here, has a whole article about night fishing for snook.
Mm. Growing up, that was the only time I thought you could catch snook. I was just ignorant. I thought the snook were just active at night, particularly, not so much during the day. Go ahead, Carolyn.
No, but they are fun at night. So.
I'm going to have to look at that article because I must be doing something wrong. I see him going through the light. I just can't get him to bite.
Well.
Got to cast just outside the light. I can tell you that. They won't hit in the light. They hit right outside the light.
Yeah. Right at that.
In the jigging action, Robert?
Yep.
Do you just
Anything.
wind it up or you jig it? Anything. Okay. Give it a shot.
But stay out just outside the light. That's where they are. That's where they'll hit it. They won't hit it in the light for some reason. Because we do this like a couple nights a week on a light, and I can tell you they will not hit in direct light. They will hit just outside the light.
Yep.
Oh, I'm totally going to try that.
Awesome. Take your hot dogs with you. Make sure you get them ready to go. I bet
right.
if you did it right, I bet you could catch them with a hot dog.
Yeah, sometimes I couldn't even get catfish.
Go ahead, Robert.
We just use live shrimp, so or lures. So.
Wow. Oh my goodness. All right, my friend. Well, it is that moment. We rapidly run out of time. Like I said earlier, it's as fast as 2 hours that go by in my life. So, Robert, for those who are maybe just tuning in for the first time or not familiar, you mentioned the magazine. How do they find the magazine?
Check out the magazine at www.flfishmag.com. If you got to send us something, send it to us at pages@flfishmag.com. And enjoy the magazine.
And it really is a work. You've got to go look at it. The amount of information that is in there, along with the pictures and the videos and the stories, it's just, it really is inspiring, especially with all the different, from coming in from all over the place. And
well, I added a little note at the bottom of the index in the front of the magazine because not everybody seemed to have known this. If you click on any logo in there, it'll take you to the website. If you click on any social media icon, it'll take you to that person's social media page. So
wow, that is a tremendous amount of work. No wonder it takes you so long to get this stuff done. Holy smokes,
Yep.
man. Wow. Well, Robert, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm ever so grateful you share with us on Sunday mornings. Take a few minutes out and let us fill us in on some of the local stuff that's going on. I wish you an awesome day, my friend. I guess you're not going to go bike riding, huh?
actually, we are. We're
you?
headed for the park.
Yeah. Well, as long as it doesn't
Overcast
rain.
like this is great.
Yeah.
As long as it's not raining.
Yeah. Well, Carolyn, I'll give you an opportunity to say goodbye to Robert. We'll go to a break. Thanks, Robert.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Hey, Robert, I'm going to send you a couple pictures from last week's tournament, so be on the lookout for
That'd
those.
be great.
Awesome.
That would be
Have
awesome.
a great day.
I'm fishing in Florida.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Club, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Club has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclub.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Club. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. I just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah. Fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah. I'm fishing and
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, and I've had a problem with, I had somebody who was putting the archives up for me and found out that they weren't putting them up the way they were supposed to be put up, and in some cases they weren't being put up at all. So I've had to kind of take that responsibility over, and we haven't had archives put up in a while, but I am working on that, and we will have updated. I know some of it will be updated today. So what I was about to say is good morning. We are back, and if you've missed the first part of the show, it will be archived, and the archives will be up, and you can find a link to the archives on our homepage, which is www.fishinginfloridashow.com. Anyway, plenty of ways that you can listen to the show. The easiest of all those, of course, is if you have our app. It's free. No spyware, no adware, no push notifications, none of that stuff. Just the easiest way that we can offer you to listen to the network. And there's a wide variety of shows on the network. And let me get back to my co-host. My co-host is Carolyn with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, this young lady's who you need to speak to. Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back.
Well, you know, it's funny. You had mentioned rain coming through Boca, and it's just now tapping on my window here. So
there you go.
And it's pretty heavy.
And
thanks for the weather report.
I think we have our next guest on with us. That's Captain Neill Holland. He's with Ocean Aide 360. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, Rizkala. Hey, Carolyn. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Neill. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Sounds like Rizkala should be our weatherman.
Well, you know, are you over on the West Coast this morning?
I am. Yeah, I'm in St. Petersburg.
So it should be looking pretty cloudy where you're at as well.
It is. And I have a 1 p.m. start for my charter today.
Oh, no.
So hopefully it holds off a little bit on us.
It doesn't look like it's, well, I don't know, by 1 p.m., what I'm seeing on the radar may be out of your area by then. Doesn't look like there's anything behind it. But I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff, activity in your area, moving to the east, almost directly to the east. So maybe by 1 p.m., you know, God willing, by 1 p.m., it's all gone and you have a nice day.
Yep. There's been a good redfish bite and plenty of snook to catch, so hoping we can get them out there and take a crack at it today.
So I wanted you to come on and give us an update, the latest and greatest about what's going on with Ocean Aide.
Yeah, you bet. As your listeners and Carolyn will certainly know, Ocean Aide 360 was started in 2017, and we launched our flagship project, which is called the Ghost Trap Rodeo Event Series. Just like a normal inshore fishing tournament, but instead of reds and trout and snook, we're going out in search of derelict and abandoned crab traps, lobster traps, and other forms of marine debris, basically non-biodegradable items. And since that time, through our various events that we've organized, we do about one every 8 weeks, I guess. We're just approaching 100,000 pounds of high priority marine debris removed,
Wow.
and a lot of it recycled. So right now, we're kind of between events at the moment. We're gearing up for some December, January events in Tampa Bay and Jacksonville. And so we're looking forward to that. But one thing that I can report is that we've had a couple of project proposals that we submitted awarded lately. So that's really exciting. The
Congratulations.
First one is, go ahead. What was that?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah, the first one is from Duke Energy. They partnered with CCA and with Aide 360 to do some work trying to make the process of cleaning up any fish kill that might result from harmful algal blooms, trying to make that cleanup process a little bit more effective so that homeowners and tourism and all of that isn't impacted any longer than it absolutely has to be. That project was born out of our experience cleaning up the fish kill that happened here this summer in Tampa Bay. And our city and the emergency services contractor that our city uses handed all of us the morning that, well, we were there 10 days or so for 10 hours each day. But
Wow.
they handed us like pool skimmers and dip nets, like you dip a redfish out of the water with or something, to go out and clean up all of this fish kill that was in everybody's canals and jammed up underneath their docks and such. So, yeah, myself and a few of the other charter captains were looking at that and thought there must be a better way. So we're gonna work on designing some kind of like a commercial purse seine net, if you will, but it's going to be in miniature scale and something that flats boats or Carolina skiffs could use together to get the debris out of these kind of limited vessel access areas. So that's going to be kicking off soon, in December.
Why does it seem to be a predominant area in around the Tampa, Fort Myers area that has this? It's almost like a cycle, almost every year, right?
Yeah, we're kind of beset with a couple of whammies, if you will. The first one is that our infrastructure system for the cities along Tampa Bay is pretty old, and so for that reason, we've got so many residents, and when we get a big rain or a big storm pass through our area, it inundates our stormwater system, and we have some wastewater and sewage and such that's at various levels of treatment that gets put out into the bay in the millions of gallons realm. And that fuels red tide. And this summer, as I'm sure you're aware of, what happened was that an old fertilizer kind of production facility. Yeah, there's sludge water was put out because their pond was about to collapse. So that was put out into the bay, and it really fueled the red tide that was already in the area.
I don't understand why these people can't be more responsible. They know if they release this stuff that we're going to have a harmful effect on the environment. It's like, well, we don't care.
True.
We need the money. It's just.
Well, I mean, I'd accept the fact that they're in a difficult position, like the Piney Point issue. If that pond wall that they were so concerned about, if it had collapsed all the way, it might have inundated the businesses and residences in the closest neighborhoods there for hundreds of families.
I didn't realize it was that close to the area.
Yeah. Yeah, so some of these issues like that, they're kind of legacy issues, but we need the investment on them to repair them before they become so problematic,
Wow. Well, one of the things that I've shared with you that I really enjoyed about Aide 360 when they go out and do these ghost trap radios, and one of the first questions that I asked you may remember, is what do you do with this stuff? Because there's a lot of people who, they paint this beautiful picture. Oh, we're going to go out, we're going to do this, we're going to do the other. All you find out is they just moved garbage from one place to another. So they just built garbage up somewhere else. So what intrigued me and what caught my attention, coming from a plastics background, I used to run a plastics plant many years ago. Plastics is a really neat product, can be used over and over again. The bad thing about it is you don't want it going in the environment because it doesn't break down very easily. And so when I heard about what you guys were doing, one of my first questions was, what are you doing with this stuff? And I was so pleased to find out that the product that you can recycle gets recycled. It doesn't end up in a landfill. We're not taking it out of the water and just sticking it on the land somewhere. It actually gets reused again. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, glad to. Since we started, we've had a partnership with Covanta Energy Company, and they have a dedicated fishing for energy program, they call it. And basically it's where they take our plastics that are of recyclable quality. They take that off our hands, and they do a kind of waste to energy program that maybe you know more about how that functions than I do, but I'm just glad to know that they've got it, and they've got a channel by which they can receive all our monofilament fishing line and certain types of plastics and such to take it back and recycle it in that regard. The other mechanism that we have for recycling our collected items is that we have a partnership with FWC and with the St. Mary's River Keepers up there near the Florida-Georgia line on the east coast. And basically what they do is they take our blue crab traps, which have lots of barnacle growth on them and such. And after we put those ashore for about 4 or 6 months to make sure that any kind of, foreign, let's say, life that might be on those traps, it dies. But the kind of calcified barnacle structures and everything are still there. So we take those up to them, and they put them in kind of a stack, maybe 3 on top of each other, and then 6 across, that kind of an idea. And they stake it out on an area of the Angelia River, and they use it as recruitment sites for larval oysters to attach themselves to it and begin helping with water filtration. So over the course of the last 3 years, we've seen those traps go from very light kind of barnacle growth that was on those traps when we pulled them out, the blue crab traps, to now being staked out. They've recruited all these oysters and everything, and they're helping with water quality in areas that need it. So pretty exciting.
Everybody wins. This is what I like. This is the kind of deals that I like to do, is where everybody wins. The environment has won. The fish are happy that you pulled the ghost traps out of. The components are taken back and then used as a graph, if you will, if there is such a thing in sea life. And the fish, and the environment in the new area, they win as well. Everybody. I love it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the anglers are happy as well because they're getting, nice quality fishing and boating prizes, just like a normal inshore fishing tournament. And have lots of kids out there and all kinds of things. So we've got various divisions and such. So if you want to come out with, in stealth mode and not tell anybody where your honey hole is and all of that and take it really seriously, well, we've got a division and great prizes for that type of a participant. And then we've got, lots of kids and families involved as well out there for a fun time. So
awesome.
It's a nice event for everybody. Yeah.
It really is awesome. Again, and everybody wins.
Yeah.
How can you not want to support something like that?
Yeah.
And literally everybody wins. It's a really, again, one of the thing that really caught my attention was you weren't going to just take garbage out of the sea and then bury it. We were going to take it out of the sea. We're going to make use of it, that which you can make use of, and actually help the sea life to grow again. The plastic, it depends on what they do with that plastic, but there's a process that's becoming more and more popular for certain areas where they can take the plastic and turn it back into oil using a thermo process of some sort. I read a little bit about it months back where they're able to literally take it and turn it back into oil. How much of the oil they get per plastic, I don't know, but there is a process where they can do that. And of course, once they get it in oil, then they can do whatever they want with it. They can make it plastic again, or they can do a variety of things with it once it's in that frame. Again, it depends on what they want to do with it. And sometimes if it's clean enough, they can just chop it up and use it with what they call virgin plastic in a variety of components. We helped some companies do that when I was involved in the thermoplastic industry. Our plastic had already been used, and then we would chop it up in little flakes, and then we would sell it to other people who would mix it with their, brand new material, and they would make a variety of things. One of the most popular things was these little plastic coat hangers. And by the bazillions, this one company made them by the millions per month. Those plastic coat hangers that you see, some of those were made with a partially recycled product. So again, plastic is great. I just don't want it going in the environment. That's where we have an issue with it, because it doesn't break down properly, even in the water. The water, I think it's worse in the water than it is on land, because in water it breaks down in little tiny particles, and then remains as those little tiny particles. The fish breathe that and eat that thing, and then they have these plastic inside of them. So we get it out of the water, and we make use out of it somewhere else. That's awesome. That's really what we should be thinking more along the lines of, because we have all these resources around us, and we have the technology to utilize them. So this is one of the reasons I like what you do. The next ghost trap, when is that going to be?
We haven't announced the date just yet, but we're looking at the 2 weeks in December before we get into the Christmas holiday and kind of after Thanksgiving.
Cool.
So we're thinking that might be a good time to do something here in Tampa Bay when our water is a little bit clearer due to the drop in the water temps.
And if people want to follow that, I think it's the Oceanaid website. Give out the Oceanaid website.
Yep. Yeah, you bet. It's Oceanaid 360. That's 360.org. We've got lots of good information there, and we announce all our events through the website and on our Facebook page by the same name.
Awesome.
Yeah. I know what's great about the website too is there's some video footage for our listeners and go on and see a little bit about it. And Captain Neill, you also do charter business on the side, right?
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, I run inshore trips here out of St. Petersburg, and my company's called GoFishTampaBay.com. We focus on snook, redfish, sea trout, snapper, grouper. Do a little bit of king fishing, and have a lot of fun here. We got a great fishery.
Do you do half day and full day trips? If someone wants to reach you, how would they get a hold of you to sign up for a trip?
I sure do. Yeah, I sure do. They could do that through my website, GoFishTampaBay.com, or through my phone. But all that information is listed there on the site. So, yeah, welcome anybody who's interested in doing some fishing with me, of course.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share with us this morning and for what you do. And I mean that sincerely. I'm grateful for people like you who care about our environment enough to dedicate, their time and their efforts and their energy to do some of these things. And I am grateful for that. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you. I wish you an awesome day.
Thanks.
Yeah, good luck fishing at 1 o'clock today. I hope you hook them up.
Thanks a lot, Carolyn. I appreciate it. I wish you guys a great day, and to your listeners, thanks a lot for having me. Have a great day, everybody.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, I'm fishing in
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
I think she had a hiccup there. I can't figure out why that happens. Every once in a while, the audio track will do like a skip in the old days when we had records. And you put the needle down on the record. If the record had a nick in it, it would skip, And it sounded like she had a skip there. So yes, I'm laughing. It's just you gotta be with me in the morning and understand what I go through. So anyway, I have to laugh at it. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. We are back, and this morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax with me. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back, Miss Carolyn.
Well, thank you, Riscala.
It also doesn't help that I look at my screen and I see random guy. He comes,
you know who that is.
He comes up as random guy. I love it. I want to be able to call people and have my name come up as random guy. Good morning, Trae. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Did you know that you come up as random guy?
Yeah, that's my, I guess I got that set up on my Google account, and somehow, all this technology links everything to everything, and it comes up as random guy, so.
I love it. Oh, my goodness.
So funny. And, before Trae gets into all of his wonderful fishing stuff, we've never even mentioned Trae is also a licensed insurance broker in South Florida. So
I did not know that.
Insurance.
Wow.
Yeah, so he changes hats all the time.
Wow. Along with working retail, oh my gosh. And then having the time to go fishing. Holy smokes, man.
And kicking the pink lady's butt last week. So you have to tell us about that, Trae.
Yeah, definitely. We had a local fishing club that Sean Miller runs, Offshore Anglers at Pompano Beach. They had what they call a dead bait tournament, where you can't use live bait. It's only lures and dead bait, like frozen bait, like ballyhoo or bonita strips and things like that. And we were the defending champs from last year on a boat called the Meat Wagon, Captain Tom Jones and a fun crew. And we went out there, and early in the morning we were looking for the wahoo like everybody, because the wahoo bite has been on fire. And we hooked up on a cobia trolling with a rigged mullet on the shotgun line, and it was totally surprising because it's rare that we catch cobia over here, let alone on the troll. So that was the game-changing fish for us at least. And then we trolled around looking for the wahoo for a little while, and then after a couple hours, we knew the dolphin bite was hot offshore. So we went out to the 50 line, and we found a weed patch, and that was it. We saw the mahi jumping in our spread in the back.
Oh, my gosh.
And we knew we were going to get on. And we hooked up, and that was it. The school was around the boat. Probably in about 20 minutes, we had 20 mahi in the boat.
Wow.
And yeah, ranging from 4 to 11 pounders, which are nice size.
Yeah.
For over
That's
here as far as schoolies go.
Yeah.
No monsters, but enough to put us in the money for the tournament.
Carolyn said something about you stuffed 70 pounds of fish in a 5-gallon bucket.
So one of the Calcuttas is fill the bucket. So you fill the bucket of fish, and you got to hang it on the hook with the scale without the bucket tipping over. As many fish as you can get in there. We were stuffing them in, and as we were stuffing them in, they were popping back out. And so we got as many in there as we could.
70 pounds, my gosh.
No, it was 84 pounds. We got the last one on top, and it put it to 84 pounds.
Holy smokes, man! And there wasn't water in there. You sure a lot of it wasn't water? Maybe rocks.
No, there was some nice mahi in there. We had
oh my gosh!
We had a couple of 11 pounders, 9 pounders. Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice bucket.
That is
it's
awesome.
It's nice when you get back to the dock and you have to fillet for a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only had that experience a couple of times in my life where we were literally 3 of us filleting for about 3 hours when we got back. It was just amazing. And people standing all around going, oh, where'd you guys go? How far out were you? You know? Go ahead,
and I'll tell you the funniest thing. The pink ladies were the weigh-in girls. So, you know, we had a little difficulty lifting up that bucket onto the hanging scale that we had. So it was kind of funny. We're taking everyone's fish, and we're like, oh, how many more do they have?
Well, I'm amazed that you got that 84 pounds. Holy smokes. So what goes on with the fish? I'm curious then. You've got all these fish. What happens to it all?
So we have a team that has 7 guys on the boat. So once it's all said and done, we end up washing the boat, filleting the fish, and we each get a couple of pounds of fish to take home. Yeah. Once you split it between 7 people, you know, it doesn't go that far. But there's a local restaurant over here, which I had never been to, and somebody recommended you can take your catch, and they'll cook it for you.
Wow.
And there's a few places around town that are nice, but this one is in Lauderdale by the Sea off of Commercial Boulevard, and it's called Billy Jack's. And it's a local guy that's been fishing forever in Pompano and Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and he's the chef, and he came out and he asked how we want it cooked and everything. He made one of the best ceviches I've ever had with the cobia and the wahoo, and then he did the wahoo on the main course over a bed of shrimp and vegetables and potatoes. It was delicious.
Wow. My mouth is watering, and it's still morning.
So that's what we do after we catch the fish.
Well, the reason why I was asking, I was at the Ohana, I think it's what was called, the Ohana tournament, and I met some young people there, and I lost the contact for them, but people who want to donate their fish to them, from what I gather, they fillet the fish and then take them to different places like homeless shelters and things of that nature to help other people. So I was wondering if they had anything like that going on. I'm trying to get that contact information so I can get them on and they can share with the listeners what they do. But it's something like that. Whoever catches fish, if they want to donate it to this organization, it's a 502 organization. They donate to the organization, and then they see to it, that organization sees to it that it goes to needy people. So I thought that was awesome. I thought it was another testimony to the fishing community, some of the things that they do. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And this particular tournament didn't have a donation, because usually the weigh-ins are on a dock somewhere on land.
Yeah.
This particular weigh-in was at Lake Boca at the sandbar on one of our friends' sport fish boats. So the weigh-in was actually on a boat.
On a boat, yeah.
So usually the guys that take the donations and give it to the churches or the homeless shelters, or, you know, for the people that, you know, go to the food banks, they usually come with their coolers,
right,
and they'll fillet the fish right there at the dock, and they'll take the fillets and bring them to where they need the food.
Yep.
Yeah, but typically we have that at the.
So you've
at
heard
the
of
weigh-in.
that. You've heard of them then.
Oh yeah, I always have one at my tournaments.
Oh,
for
cool.
sure.
See, I was ignorant. That's the first time I'd run into it. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, which Trae has a real big tournament coming up on November 11th to 14th. So you have to tell us about that. The cause is amazing.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, and this one, so cool. It's nice. I always run the tournament around Veterans Day, and this year Veterans Day is on a Thursday, which happens to be our captain's meeting day, which is great. Last year we did it where we had a ceremony in the morning on the Wednesday, but this year we're going to do the ceremony at the captain's meeting, and I have one of our locals, Kitty McGowan, who runs the tournament, Take a Hero Fishing, when Fleet Week comes in, which all the sailors come to the dock, all the boaters come to the dock, and we take them fishing. But she's going to be singing our national anthem at the captain's meeting.
Awesome. Wow.
And then we have our keynote speaker is the beneficiary of last year's tournament, David Diaz, who had COVID, and he's a physical therapist working at the hospital taking care of COVID patients. He got COVID. He was on a ventilator for 4 months. He went down to 115 pounds. He had to relearn how to walk, how to get up if he falls down, how to get out of bed. So he's just a testimony to positive attitude and not giving up. So he's going to be a keynote speaker at our captain's meeting. And then we're still raising money this year for veterans and first responders. And that's what this tournament is. 100% of the proceeds go directly to that cause.
Wow.
And they have silent auctions and raffle items too for our listeners. So there's some really great things that you can buy there, and help. Like I said, like Trae said, all the proceeds go to charity, which is awesome. So between Big Dog and Trae and Sean Miller and Offshore Angler Pompano Beach, this whole local community is amazing. So Trae, thank you for giving back and working as hard as you do.
Oh yeah, and I'm actually I'm putting together a committee that's going to help me organize the tournaments and sponsors and events and things like that. So I have a couple people helping now, and so we should be able to make it a pretty big event in the years coming. But like Carolyn said, there's a lot of sponsors that help out and donate, whether it's products or money or time or venues. And Carolyn's one of those sponsors, and she's always helping all the tournaments. Atlas Trax is always at all the tournaments helping donate to raise money. And then also we have a new sponsor that came on, Vandel Jewelers, and they just donated a pendant, a big dolphin pendant with a necklace, a gold necklace, value of $1,000, which is going to be a great raffle item.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you say that jeweler again, Trae?
It's Vandel Jewelers.
Are
they up
they
in
do
Palm Beach, right?
Yeah, they do nautical jewelry.
Wow.
Yep, I saw them at Chase and Tails and the Big Dog Fat Cat.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of the tournaments, like Big Dog Fat Cat, Billy Wummer, he's a huge giver too. They have a big tournament, and then also Summer Warren with Chase and Tails. They're also up there, and they do a great tournament, and they give back to, kids that have these neurological diseases when they're born that they just can't find cures for, and they help with all that, paying the bills and the food and the medical expenses. And we all kind of work together to help each other out and promote each other's causes, which is amazing.
I really believe that is one of the core reasons we are here as human beings, and that is to be able to help each other in whatever way we can. And you guys are a testimony to that. That's awesome. What she does with some of these diseases that these kids get, there's no, like you mentioned, there's no treatment, there's no cure. They don't know how long the child is going to live. And that must be devastating. And then to have to deal with the medical side, the medical bills, and that can be literally financially destroy a family very quickly. And these people come along and step in and help out. And I saw a story about her helping to pay the mortgage for one of the family. And I say her organization. She's responsible for it, so I give her credit for it. Not that she came out of her pocket, but her organization paid a mortgage for one of these families that the child is going through this terrible ordeal through. So God bless them. This is really what warms my heart, that there's still good people in the world, because there's a lot of craziness that is going on, and there are still plenty of good people here, and they need to be acknowledged. They need to be known. Because there's just all of this insanity that's going on around us. Go ahead.
You know, it's really neat that your show seems to have like that kind of, I guess, commonality between people that are on the show. Every time I listen to the show, it's always people that, you know, they have a full-time career, but they're also giving back so much to, you know, whether it's cleaning up the environment like the last speaker, or the, you know, just doing different things for different causes. It's amazing.
That's what I like to promote. Everybody wins. You know, it's one of those things where everybody wins. And I think I have Mark Reuwer on, and Mark was in the tournament as well. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Mark, we got Trae's on the phone too.
Hey, what's up, Trae?
Hey, Mark.
So we've been talking about the tournament, Mark, and Trae has been telling us that you really didn't do very well. No, just kidding. I'm just pulling your leg. Oh my gosh! So you want to tell us what you saw at the tournament, my friend?
Hey, Riscala, let me jump in quick. Before he says anything. Mark probably had the toughest job because he had to keep track of Carolyn and the pink ladies. That's probably the toughest job on the water.
Good point. Very good point.
It was worth it. It was fun. Definitely. It's always a good time.
And Carolyn says you guys didn't do too bad.
No, we did all right. We always want to do better. I mean, that's why we do these. You try and do the best you can and come out on top. But we didn't come out on top, but we didn't come out on the bottom. We did end up on the leaders board. We caught one eligible fish for the day, and if you're only going to catch one fish, make it count.
There you go.
So we caught a 25-pound wahoo. Actually, Carolyn caught it. I believe it was 25.4 pounds, and it was the biggest fish of the tournament. And Carolyn also got top female angler for that.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Congrats,
yeah,
Carolyn.
It was an early bite. We had lines in at 7 o'clock. We put the lines in right at 7. It was the first bait in the water. 7:05, the planer rod went off, and 7:08, Carolyn had the fish to the boat, and I gaffed it, and we put it in.
That is crazy.
We sucked it. We had to bend it. It couldn't even fit in the fish box.
Oh, but then what happened to the rest of the trip there, Mark? What went on there?
We fished. And we fished.
I think that's when the celebration started.
Yeah, we fished and we drank vodka.
There was a keynote right there. The fish were out there, obviously. I mean, my gosh. Trae comes back with 84 pounds of fish. My goodness. So let me guess, Trae, there was no vodka on your vessel. Is that correct?
Oh, we're totally stocked. It's like a full bar.
We had so many brands, we couldn't help it.
Oh my God!
We even have stuffed olives for the martinis.
And Riscala, I have to tell you, I saw footage of them smoking cigars. It didn't stink.
Oh, I got to dry my eyes. My eyes are leaking from laughing too hard. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Hey, if you're not going to have fun doing it, don't do it. Right?
There you go. That's a good point. Very good point.
Absolutely.
And I have to tell you, Mark is such a trooper and such a sport. He actually wore a feather boa at weigh-in for a while. And the other gentleman, Bob, had, which was pink, in honor of breast cancer. And the other gentleman,
cool.
Bob, had pink antennas on. So we were the weigh-in boat. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So Mark did his part and Trae did his part, and it sounds like it was an awesome day. And it sounds like another one of those deals where everybody wins. That's the kind of stuff I love. Everybody wins. So who benefited from this particular tournament?
I think it went to the club. However, the club raises money. I say club meaning OAPB, Offshore Anglers of Pompano Beach.
Yeah.
They take money and donate to different charities throughout the year.
Right.
So when I say the money goes towards the club, they take that and divide it out into different charities throughout the year. So they're not actually keeping it. They're just building it up and returning it to different places that can use it.
Yeah, I'm familiar. They're almost like a transfer station. There's so many people that they support.
Exactly.
So I was wondering if there was one particular beneficiary on this one, or I guess it may be a group thing. It'd be a bunch of them all over.
Well,
I know the last one.
Go ahead, Trae.
The last one that I remember, they actually donated to the Chase and Tails tournament recently to Summer Warren's charity a $5,000 check. So that was a pretty big one.
Wow. Well,
right, that's really good.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yep. As I said, the club builds it up and then they donate it to different charities, and Summer Warren is one of those that we just did.
That's awesome.
And here's something that's really cool too. I'm participating more. There's a golf tournament that the club is doing December 4th. And what happens is you can buy a hole and put your flags or your marketing material out there, which is cool. Of course, Atlas Trax and Pink Ladies bought hole number 1. And then there's going to be a pro golfer that you could pay him $20 to hit your first ball if you want, to get it off the tee and do a little golf scramble. So I think that'll be a lot of fun, and that's a couple weeks away as time flies.
Where's that at? Carolyn, where's that at?
I believe that's at is that the Pompano Beach golf course, guys?
Right by Galuppi's.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
And I think there's probably going to be 30 or so teams that are going to sign up, and it's correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It's the best ball scramble. So whoever in your team hits the furthest ball, you go to that and you hit the next ball. I think that's how it is. So it should be fun and easy.
Cool. And you expecting a bunch of people for that?
I think there will be. I mean, myself, I'm not a golfer, but I think I might go and just hang out and have fun with everybody.
Yeah, I'm not a golfer either, but it might be fun to watch them. Carolyn, you're saying one person hits the ball, then the same ball, someone else hits it?
Right. So if 4 people are on your team, whoever hits the ball the furthest, everybody goes and walks to that furthest ball, and then everybody drops their balls and hits from there. So it kind of, moves the game along a little bit faster, but it's also fun because, everybody's doing it as a team, from what I understand, and running up to that one ball and hitting them again.
Yeah.
So it should be really fun. And then there's going to be, of course, the girls running around with beer and water and the golf carts and all offshore angler Pompano Beach team. So it should be a lot of fun. It's a beautiful local golf course. You don't have to participate. There's a bar right there, usually with music. You can see what's going on. It should be a lot of fun.
You can participate at the bar. You can do that, Gee.
Exactly.
Oh, it sounds like fun. Oh, wow. Well, Mark, let me say goodbye to Trae. Thank you, Trae, for taking time to share with us this morning. Trae is at Big Dog Tackle. I'm trying to figure out something, a catchphrase for Big Dog Tackle, something like, if you want to get your fishing items with a great price and no hassle, you got to go talk to Big Dog Tackle, something like that. So we'll work it up. And I want to be able to, do that for you guys because you are always gracious with your time on Sunday morning. So many times you come in and have filled for me, so I'd like to pay back in whatever way I can. So thank you, Trae. I greatly appreciate it. I'm still drying my eyes from the laughing. Thank you for all the laughter this morning. I appreciate it. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you.
Trae, absolutely. You count on me for that next tournament. Wherever you need me, I'll be. And who knows, maybe we'll step up and the girls will fish.
Maybe Mark has a new team. Lance might get upset with that.
The ladies, and you know what? I hate to tell you, we did a little boat washing on the way in, and it wasn't that bad, was it, Mark?
No. I don't think much of the boat got washed at that point. But
That's what I heard.
yes, that was good.
That's what I heard. Lord have mercy. Trey, I wish
It was clean, though. There was soap involved.
Wish you an awesome day, Trey. I keep looking at Trey's. It comes up on the board as random guy. I just can't get over that random guy. I'm gonna have to remember. I'm gonna put him down on the log. I'm not gonna put Trey West anymore. I'm gonna put random guy.
And we'll know who that means.
We'll know who that is, right? Oh my goodness. God bless you, my friend. Wish you an awesome day, Trey.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good day, Trae.
Tight lines.
Oh my goodness, I just got such a kick out of that. I have to figure out there is a way that you can, do that so that when you call somebody, you come up as a random guy. Oh my gosh. So Mark is still with us. I wanted to give him a couple of minutes to kind of give us his perception of what happened and how the day went for him and with his particular point of view. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I mean, we had fun. We fished. As I said earlier, we caught the one wahoo first thing in the morning.
That was amazing.
On the inside, and we fished inside for about an hour and a half, and had no other bites. So the captain decided to go offshore and look for dolphin, and we did that, and we just never found them out there. So we caught a couple little barracudas, a couple little barjacks, but unfortunately we couldn't find anything else to add to our fish.
Wow. And the barracuda, you caught a couple of barracuda? Or you just saw them?
No, we caught them. They were small, very small. But
do you ever get the feeling that they're following your boat? I'm serious. When we were down in the Keys, I can tell you had several experiences down in the Keys. This was many years ago, where we would be drift fishing across the drop, so to speak, and we'd be doing great, and all of a sudden somebody pull up a fish. And the only thing left is the head, and we knew right off the bat that was a cuda, and they're using us as their lunch wagon. So we would pick up and move, and we would shoot. Sometimes we would go for 5, maybe 10 minutes, cruising along that ledge, and stop, and then start drift fishing across the ledge again, and maybe get to pull up 2 or 3 fish, and then boom, again, same thing. Son of a gun, if that cuda didn't follow, I'm telling you, that little booger, he followed us from wherever we were to the next point. I'm wondering if anybody else feels like that. Do you feel like they follow you?
If you're drifting, they're going to pick up on the scent of your baits.
Oh, good point.
So they will follow, especially if you're chumming, if you're trying to catch snappers and whatnot, and you're chumming.
Yeah.
They're gonna pick up on that scent. That's what they do, and that's how they find their food. So they'll, yes, absolutely, they'll follow you.
There was a couple occasions where they did that. It's just so irritating because you have a nice fish and all of a sudden you feel it. It's a nice fight going on, and then it's gone, and you know in your mind, uh-oh, I know what's coming up now. The only thing left is the head, just right behind the gills. They take all the good stuff and leave you right there behind the gills every time. It was very irritating. Little boogers.
Yeah,
and I have to tell you, I'm so thankful that Mark has tagged along with the girls the last couple of weekends, and I know we lose him in the next couple of tournaments because, of course, he's going for the big kingfish on Young Guns, that massive 43-foot Midnight Express.
Nice.
So we're going to have to fend on our own and call him on the phone and say, where do we go now?
So he didn't teach you any ins and outs, any little secrets that he shared?
Oh, no. Mark is so awesome and generous. He would spend time with the girls showing us how to do things. We had a 7-year-old peewee angler on the boat. He was hysterical. Wow. Yeah, he was so funny. I watched him go up to Mark. He's 3 feet nothing. Mark's 6'4", and hand him a lure in a plastic container and say, Mark, we need to change this out.
Oh my goodness! Oh wow, that's cool.
I almost fell over laughing.
That is awesome. Wow. And how many boats do you think were in that whole thing, Carolyn?
Mark, what do you think?
There was 14.
Was it 14?
I think there was 14 boats in it.
Yeah. Wow, that's still a
not
number.
Not a big one, but a great local one.
Yeah. Think about it. 14 boats all fishing in the area, going after a prize. That's and when you have. Go ahead.
It's what they call their dead bait tournament. So there's no live bait allowed.
Yeah.
So you really go back to the basics of your old school of fishing. So, there's certain species that you'll catch bigger ones on live bait than you will on artificials or bonita strips, things like that. And then there's other fish that you'll catch more of on a dead bait than you'll catch on live bait. For instance, your blackfin tunas. Most of your bigger blackfins, 18, 20, up to 30 pounds, you're going to catch on live baits. When you're trolling using artificials or a bonita strip, if you catch a 15-pound blackfin, that's a big blackfin to catch on a dead bait. Now you come into wahoos, you'll catch probably 9 times as many wahoos on dead baits or on pulling a planer with a bonita strip as you will catch on a live bait on the surface, or even slow trolling a live bait. It's
interesting. Wow.
how it works with different species. So you're losing some of your bigger fish without the live bait, but you're gaining other big fish by not using the live bait.
And I have to interrupt and say that Mark's dad makes fishing lures, and we were pulling a Reuwer special when I think we got the wahoo, right?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
We caught the winning fish on Dad's fishing lure.
Oh, I didn't know he was. And so I take it that it's called Reuwer lure. Reuwer lure. Oh, that'd be kind of hard to say, wouldn't it? Reuwer.
Reuwer lure.
Reuwer lure. Cool. It even rhymes.
And people have called them many different things, and that's one of them.
and I have to tell you, Mark, I took it upon myself to reach out to your dad, and I bragged a little on Facebook. So I told him, yeah, it was great having you on the boat, and we put that winning fish on the boat with his lure.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And I take it, Mark, are they handmade?
Absolutely.
That's
From
awesome.
scratch, everything on them.
That's awesome.
You know, even the heads, he pours the lead, he melts the lead, pours the heads,
wow,
paints them, hand paints the eyes on them. He puts his initials on every lure that he makes.
Wow.
Hand paints everything, and then he ties them all by hand. You know, right here in Pompano. They're local.
That's cool. And
and he's been doing that since before I was born.
Did his dad do something like that?
No, not at all. His my grandfather, my dad's dad, never really fished at all.
Wow.
My dad got started in the fishing industry when he was, I would have to say, 10 or maybe even younger than that, by working in a tackle shop up in Maryland where he was born.
Wow.
So, eventually he got started working on the charter boats, and he did that for most of his life. And he retired from that probably, I'm going to say 10, 12 years ago maybe. And he still makes lures.
Wow.
But he's done the lures since before I was even born.
That's
so another
awesome.
total fishing family.
Yeah. That's cool. I find it interesting how Grandpa really wasn't involved in it.
No, he was in the restaurant and bar business.
Wow. Look at it. What a stark. Well, you know what? There's a relationship between the two. We were just talking about that, right? There is a relationship between the two. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty funny when one girl gets the sandwiches and you say, "What can I bring?" and like, "It's whatever you drink." Okay.
Wow. Well, it's
yeah. We don't go hungry and we don't go thirsty. That's for sure.
It's good to know that we have some. We had a gentleman. He passed away a couple of years ago. We had him on several times. Peter Camarano, who he also made handmade lures as well, and I think his was a generational thing. I think he had learned that from somebody in his family, whether it was his dad or granddad or something. But it's nice to know that still people making things by hand because so much of it is done by machine, and you lose that personal touch when something's made by hand. Each one is like an original. It's not like a mass reproduction where they come down and chop one out and chop one out. Every time they come down and chop one of them, they make maybe 100 of them at a time. And so it's a little different when it's handmade. I like that. I like people who can take things and turn something out with their hands. It's always intrigued me. Something that I've been not really good at. I have taken a shot at, but I'm not by any stretch of the imagination professional at it. I had a guy that, when I first opened my business many years ago, who was next door to me, he would make custom furniture. You walk up to this guy. I watched a man walk up to this guy with a pencil drawing of what he wanted. He went out to the man's house. He measured. He did this, that, and the other, whatever he had to do. About 4 weeks later, I saw some of the most beautiful furniture, all handmade. The whole thing, every part of it was handmade. Unbelievable. It just always amazed me how people can do that. They can take something and make something with their hands. Just really gorgeous. So my commendaments to your dad. I'm inspired by that. All right. Well,
Thank you.
We're rapidly running out of time. Carolyn, anything else you want to add?
Well, yeah, I know Mark's feverishly working on his boat to get the boat back in the water with gauges, so I'm hoping that'll work out, and I'm sure I'll see you around town this week.
Cool.
Yeah, working on the stereo system that I actually got at the silent auction at the Chasing Tails tournament.
Oh, neat.
Awesome.
It made specifically for Marine?
Yes.
Oh,
it's
cool.
a Roxford Fosgate system that goes in, and I purchased that at the silent auction for Summer Warren's charity tournament.
Cool.
Chasing Tails.
Cool.
So
awesome.
Yes.
Have fun with that. Get those tunes going for Blake.
Yep, he's right here.
Hi, Blake.
Hi, Blake. I love it. How many watts does this stereo system put out? God forbid. Probably.
It's a 1,500 watt amp on it.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm not quite sure of the whole thing, but
well, then all you have to
it'll work.
Just make sure that the speakers point towards the rear of the boat. Turn up the bass and turn your motors off. You just cruise on down, just using that sound right there. 1,500 watts.
Roll to the beat of the drum.
Holy smokes,
You
man!
got it.
Wow.
Well, you guys have a great afternoon together.
All right. Thank you.
God bless you, my friend. Thanks for taking the time to share with us this morning.
Bye, Blake.
Thank you
You're
very
listening
much.
to the
Always my
Fishing in
pleasure.
Florida show with your host, Scala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Club, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Club has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Club. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. I just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. Now, here's your host, Riscala.
Lord have mercy, I swear this is the fastest 2 hours of my life. I just blinked and it was 8 o'clock, and now it's 9:30. It just goes and goes and goes. But it is some of the most enjoyable time because I have some of the most phenomenal people that take the time to share with us on Sunday mornings, and some of the greatest stories, constantly helping other people. This is really one of the things that warms my heart, and I'm sure this is true with other fishing communities around the United States. But I am here with my community, and I can just tell you about ours, and ours is phenomenal. This morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax with me. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back. And take your phone off mute. And she's still muted.
Of course I do. Of course I do. I was going to say this is the fastest 2 hours that we do, and the other fastest time is the 5 minutes before the show when I run around the house getting coffee, getting my printout, getting my notepad. So, yeah, but this is the best part.
Well, I'll let you introduce our next guest.
I would be very happy and honored to. So our next guest is Rebecca Wanner. She's calling in from North Dakota. She is an expert angler, hunter, rancher. She has a successful Sirius Rural 147 radio channel that she had me as a guest, which is on every Saturday. And she's a super inspiration. So welcome to the show, and thanks for calling in early.
Good morning, everybody. And yes, thanks for having me along. And great to meet both of you, too. Carolyn, yes, it's been a while since we've gotten to chat.
Absolutely. I couldn't think of anybody else. We empower women that are fishermen and anglers and in the sport, and you do a little bit of everything from bow hunting to cattle roundups to fishing. And, share your story a little bit about us and, how your radio show came to be and what you're doing out in North Dakota.
Well, I don't know. I almost feel like this is something where we should be sitting around a campfire, having a drink and doing something like that if we're going to go down those roads. But no, yes, thanks for having me. And as you mentioned, I did. I grew up on a cattle ranch out in the Dakotas and still continue to have cattle to this day. But hunting and the outdoors has been a very big part of my life. So I have done, as you said, many different items, but I grew up on a ranch that had a lot of river bottoms, so I grew up doing walleye fishing, which is a little different than you guys, I think.
Wow. So walleye fishing, when you're doing that kind of fishing, am I thinking of the right thing? That's with like running streams and stuff like that?
Yes, yes. That's all along, mostly on the rivers, but then also up here we have the big lakes of Cowgirl, Lake Oahe. We have some of the best walleye fishing in the country is up here in the Dakotas. So I did grow up doing that. And then a lot of deer hunting in my life. I enjoy long range shooting. So that's something that's been a big passion of mine. Fast forward to today, like she said, I do have a radio show on Sirius XM, channel 147, and it is all about the outdoors.
Cool.
It's called The Bend is the name of the show, The Bend. And the reason why is you think about a river, there's always a bend in the river. You think about, hey, I'm going to meet you around the bend in life. You take a lot of turns in life. So we go down everything in that show. It could be hunting, fishing, camping, hiking. I don't care. If it happens outside, I probably want to talk about it.
Awesome. Wow. And Dakota. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, and Rebecca invited me to be on the show a couple months ago. It was great because we were talking about hunting and being in the mountains and safety and fishing, and we hit it off so well. I threatened to jump a flight and come out and hang out with her.
Yes, you did, and we're going to have you do that one of these times and do a little horseback riding because, like I said, we still have a lot of ranch work we have to get done. We can't just always be playing. I mean, even if the rifle's along with us or the shotgun's in the pickup, we try to make it fun no matter what we're doing out here.
That brings
or
back
the fly
some memories.
fishing There you go. Actually, fly fishing is something I've just started taking up. My fiance is a very good fly fisherman. And so, it's been a little bit of a trial when you're learning from your, other half, but I am picking it up quite well and have enjoyed it. And now even adding it to my kayaking, I've been doing fly fishing off the kayak.
Wow. There you go. We have a couple of people.
Can you imagine the beauty out there?
I'm just trying to picture this in my mind, and I'm so envious. I'm envious now, but when the cold comes, I'll be back here in Florida in a heartbeat. I can't deal with that cold.
Absolutely. I am with you on that one. We had last week, Monday, I think it was 74 degrees. And by Thursday morning, I had to go to some doctor appointments. My brother picked me up Thursday morning. It was 18 degrees.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
My gosh.
You can't even make this up. I joke that I am from the most bipolar weather state there is.
Oh, my Lord.
So let me ask you a question. Are you working cattle by horseback or by ATV or by pickup truck or all?
Oh, yes. Okay. So on the ranch, our ranch is a pretty decent spread. It's quite let's just put it this way. It's a few miles to the next neighbor.
Holy smokes. Wow.
So, and we have a lot of the terrain. I always call it God's country, but it's like the plains meet the Badlands. And so some of the terrain you can't use four-wheelers for, of course. And so we actually use both. But usually we round up with on horseback. We keep a pretty good string of horses, around 20-some horses. We keep around the place of all different levels because now the next generation is coming up. So we've got to make sure the 6-year-old cowboy all the way up to my mom, everyone is covered when it comes to the horses. And all of us, we all know how to rope, all of that. When we bring in the herd, we're usually rounding up about 550 cows plus all of the calves.
Gosh.
And it can be pretty awesome. Let's just put it that way. I enjoy. I'm known as the shutterbug in my family, and I'm always taking photos because it's like how do you put this? It's like time has stopped in some ways. Believe me, we're very innovative with what we do on the ranch. We're very innovative, but it's those quiet moments when you see a herd running in and you look across and you see cowboys that are from ages of 6 all the way on up to, 60s, and they're wearing their cowboy hats and the dust coming off those cows. It's just like a movie.
Yeah, you
and
beat
then
me
that's
to
what
it.
It makes me just feel so thankful, and I always say a prayer.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
And
I was going to
that's
say.
what's so awesome is the family staying together, just like fishing. This is something that normally, we're talking about fishing, but you're out there with the streams and the fly fishing and the kayak fishing. But here's something that's another family generational event that you're doing together, which is awesome.
Wow.
That's
cool.
exactly right. And that's how I look at the outdoors. My dad was such a a standing figure in that for us. That we had ranch work, we had all of that, but when it came to deer season opener, it was like a national holiday. No, we always stopped what we're doing. You didn't go to school, you didn't have to go to college that day. You came home. But we all would go out, and we usually never took anything on opening weekend anyway. But it was that moment of getting together, just sitting together, and spending that time.
Wow. A lot can be said about that because I've said many times that there's a direct attack on the family, and anything that we can do to help keep our family together. That's why I help promote fishing. In my life's experience, my mom, thank God, God bless her, she loved fishing. She couldn't get enough of it. So as a result of that, we did fishing quite frequently. It wasn't uncommon for us as a family to go fishing 4 times in a month, whether it was off of a bridge or whether it was off of the shore. It was something that we did as a family, and I really believe this was a vital component in the glue, if you will, that helped our family stay together. To this day, my brother's my best friend. And I attribute it to what we did during that time, during that brief period of time. We all went fishing. We all shared the same experience, but we all had different perspectives, and we all had a different component. Like I would, my brother would scale the fish. I would clean the fish. My mom would prep the fish. My dad would cook the fish. So everybody had a little part of it. And I really think that was, again, it was a vital component of the glue. And when I hear stories about like what you're talking about, again, this warms my heart because the family is, the backs of this country was built on small businesses. And guess who have small businesses? Families. So it was basically built on the backs of families. And families have been under attack for quite some time. And it has eroded our society. It has taken a hard hit. And any time that I can help promote anything, this is why I promote what I do. Any time that I can help promote something that helps with the glue, if you will, of the family, I do it in the blink of an eye. I envy you in one way, and that way is you're away from all of this stuff like we see in the city. But the other part that I don't envy, I know that what you do is extremely difficult work. It takes a lot of commitment. It is. I knew someone who was in your business many, many years ago, and it wasn't uncommon that they got up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to start work, and they worked until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then they just did it again, day in and day out. So my hat's off to you. I know that on one side it's rewarding because you're away from all of the city stuff, and you get to see the beauty that God has, but on the other side, it takes a tremendous amount of work. So God bless you.
Yeah, and I want to mention, she mentioned her fiance. Her fiance is get how fun this is, a pro rodeo announcer.
Oh,
so
wow.
Tell me that's not fun.
Yes, he is.
So the two of you guys traveling together, I can't imagine being out at a bar or a restaurant with you guys. You, the radio experience, him, the rodeo announcer experience. It would be fun to have a conversation.
And actually, Tigger, he has been syndicated for 20 years. So he's already had a radio show well before I did. And he actually, years ago, even used to do some TV, host a country morning today type show, those kinds of things. So you pair that with him being a PRCA rodeo announcer and the baritone that he has. Yes, you know where he is at all times. But we can have a pretty good time.
And Rebecca, do you mind if I share your recent story with our listeners?
Of course, yes. I'm pretty much I'll just jump in here and say this. I typically am an open book, and that's just how I've always been. And Tigger and I, my fiance and I, even with our radio shows, we're very transparent in our life. We have the radio show called The Bend that is all outdoors, and I'm one of the first women to ever have a syndicated show on Sirius XM. But then he has a show called Ranch It Up, and it's all about the ranching world, and I co-host with him on that one. And we both decided to just be very open and transparent, and that allows us then, you know what, you get the real deal every time with us. So yes, go ahead, Caroline. You can share my story.
So Riscala, I want to share with you, Rebecca has recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's going through that amazing, strong battle. So she's tough. She's going to be a pink lady, and we want to wish amazing toughness, because I know you're out there and you can do it, and we're rooting behind you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I keep saying, we got this. We got this.
We got this.
Look into iodine supplements, and there was something else I was going to mention. It kind of slipped my mind, but look into iodine. Oh, and look into a alkaline diet. The combination of both of those might help you in the situation that you're in. I've had the experience of having the big C 2 times in my life, once for prostate and once for bladder, and I did the holistic route, and I found that alkaline diets help tremendously. If you can get your body into an alkaline state, which is 7.0 and above, and if you can hold it there for a degree of time, 4, 5, 6 days, much of the time you can do away with a lot of the cancer that's in your body. It can't live in an alkaline state. So you look into an alkaline diet and how you can raise the alkalinity of your body. That might help you. And I wish you well.
And she's going to be out there wrestling cattle.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, on top of that.
Yeah, I'm known to be roping and dragging calves to the fire. That's just part of how it is. But thank you very much for the tip. I will definitely look into those items. I've just recently started my chemo treatments, and I had my second one this last week. And if I can continue feeling the way I am, I will not complain whatsoever. I'm just very thankful at this point we found mine early, because it ended up being a bit of a different. I ended up being a bit of an anomaly, and I have breast cancer, but yet it's not being treated as though breast cancer. It's considered not a breast cancer. We're just thankful that we found it early in the breast, and I'm receiving more of like a lung cancer type treatment. Even though I've never smoked, don't have lung cancer. The doctors, the great minds came together, and that's how we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting my hands, life, and said a lot of prayers and rolling with the new game plan. But I'm very positive. We have a very good outlook for what's going to come from all of this. And
Amen.
then I'll be heading down south to Florida and going fishing.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to that.
Heck yeah. You know what? And there's another reason why you called your radio show The Bend. And I am getting goosebumps thinking about you. I can't wait to hug you. And thank you so much for calling in with a time zone change and sharing your story. It's really refreshing, and love hearing about, your ranch.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to come aboard anytime you need an extra voice. Just give me a holler.
Now, Rebecca, are you in Central Time or Pacific or what?
Yes, I'm on Central Time.
Central
yes.
Time. So
and it's still dark here.
Well, oh my goodness. Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I my hat's off to you. I know there's a tremendous amount of work involved in the maintaining of a farm, only because of my personal friend from many years ago. I was amazed that this guy could do what he did for as long as he did. Oh, Lord have mercy. It was amazing that some of the work that the farmers have to do, along with the upkeep of the equipment, let alone the livestock. Then you have the equipment.
Well, the investment, absolutely. The capital right there that is tied up in the use of the equipment, the land, the cattle, and then you have to literally, you're working with Mother Nature in those hurdles every day. So, yes, and in North Dakota we do get 30 below and blizzards, so it can get a little harsh sometimes. I know, Holland, you just got goosebumps.
I just got cold thinking about
South Florida. We'll take you fishing.
Yeah.
Perfect. That sounds great. Well, if anybody is interested in catching my show ever, you can find it on the website, thebendshow.com. Otherwise, you can follow me all the time on Facebook at The Bend Show, and I'm on all podcast stations too. So take a listen, take a follow. If you have something cool that's happened in the outdoors, please send it my way. I would love to hear and see about it.
Awesome.
And your show is on Saturday at 1 p.m. still, right?
Yes, Saturday is on channel 147, Sirius XM at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Awesome. All right, Rebecca, God bless you. Prayers of healing for you, my dear. And we'll be looking forward to having you back on with a wonderful update of how everything has gone, and you are back to 100% health. And I am declaring that now in the name of the Lord. Amen. All right, my friend. God bless.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
So long.
Tight lines.
All right, I think we have Angelia on now. She snuck in there when I wasn't looking, so we'll go ahead and bring Angelia right up here. Good morning, Miss Angelia, the Florida Salty Cowgirl.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good morning. I know you pushed off the dock yesterday.
I did. I was on the phone with Carolyn and going, hey, I got to go. I'm pushing off the dock right now.
And I was so mad.
We've had some windy weather down here in the Keys that's kept everybody off the water, and we've got like 4 days of beautiful weather starting yesterday. But anybody who gets out there offshore and trolls knows that sometimes it's too flat. And yesterday it was just too flat, and it's probably looking like it's going to be like that for the next few days. There's a fine line between too bumpy and too flat, and man, it was just flat yesterday. But we are still exploring uncharted waters for ourselves, and we scored one little tuna and one little bonita, and at the end of the day, a line went absolutely screaming at a spot that I was really hoping we'd get a hit. And it turned out to be one of the fattest barracudas I'd ever seen.
Wow.
So no good for eating. Well, I mean, some people will argue with me about that, but I don't eat them. And but a heck of a fun fight, and throw them right back in, let somebody else catch them. But it's that weird time of year right now down in the Keys where we're just kind of cherry picking the last of the mahi, and we're hoping for our winter fish to come in. So it's been interesting, and exploring new waters has been really interesting.
I heard eating barracuda, you can get I don't remember what the name of it is. You get some kind of sickness from it.
When I was growing up and we came down here to the Keys a lot, I had always been told, probably by my parents, that barracuda were poisonous.
Yeah.
So I grew up just thinking that barracuda were poisonous. And, in the last few years or what have you, I've had a lot of people tell me that they're good eating, that it's the very large ones that have some type of poisonous line in them. And I've even heard people talk about cleaning them, that you have to clean some type of poison line out of them. But personally, and I always say this, I'm kind of a fish snob when it comes to eating fish. So there's so many good fish eating out there.
That's true.
I really don't have any desire to eat a fish that I have to cut a poison line out of them.
Thank you.
Just kind of, it kind of seems weird. But I do hear that some people do like to eat them. I've seen people carrying them off the docks and happy about taking them home to eat. And apparently there is a way that you can safely eat them. And I do believe that the bigger ones would have some type of poisonous aspect to them. But no, never even tried to eat one, never put a knife into one. I have a strict rule. If I'm not going to eat it, I will not, kill it.
Yeah.
So
don't blame me.
I sort of believe in my fish karma. We were talking about being superstitious a few weeks ago, and I'm really superstitious about fishing, and I try to be kind to the fish gods and Mother Ocean, or whatever you want to call it. And if I'm not going to eat it, I put it right back in the water.
Yeah, I'm looking at the radar, and in your area, there's very little activity. Now, above you, if you talk to your family over there in Tampa, they're going to tell you there's a whole bunch of stuff happening. It looks like it's coming from Tampa directly across the state to the east side. So you're lucky. You're one of the fortunate ones. You're down there kind of away from everything.
Well, I tell you what, we had about 5 days last week of straight 20-knot winds. It was just windy. And granted, we very much appreciate the cool down of weather, because it was really hot this summer. I mean, really hot. So we appreciate the little bit of cool down, which even just dropping 5 degrees for us is a really big difference. Our high at night for a long time was in the mid-80s.
Yeah.
And that's hot at night. So, the wind finally died down, and there was a lot of boats out yesterday, with the first opportunity to get out on the water, but it went from bumpy to just almost too glassy, too flat. And the sun was shining just a nice little bit. It was kind of cool, but really nice. And when the water is really glassy flat like that and the sun is out, when you are standing on the back of the boat and you're putting trolling lines out, and let's say you have a line out several hundred feet, because we run our trolling lines very far behind the boat, and you can still see that bright pink lure in the water couple hundred feet away. that's when you know, okay, this is probably not going to be a great day. Because if you can see it a couple hundred feet away, the fish can see it a couple hundred feet away. And it's just too flat, too clear, too glassy. And it's looking like it's going to be like that for the next few days. So I'm making like alternative fishing plans. Sometimes when the trolling's not good, you just go to your backup plan, which would be bottom fishing or jigging on the wrecks.
Yeah.
We're lucky down here in the southern Keys, and the lower Keys, I should say, about 30 miles offshore, we have something called the Wall, Woods Wall, and it's where the water drops off close to 1,000 feet. It's just a ledge, and that's some of your best fishing. So since we have about 4 days straight of really good weather, that 30-mile run can be kind of treacherous when it's bumpy seas. And I've done it. It's not really fun. So since it is kind of flat, maybe we'll head out there to the Wall this week and see if we can drum up the last of the mahi out there. And since I had some really good luck on the reef down here fishing, yanked up that really big, fat, red grouper. I'm itching to do a little bit more bottom fishing.
Oh,
and by the way, guys, down
that was a
here
good-looking
on
fish.
the reef, I kept hearing that the yellowtailing was excellent down here. Well, when we go out to the reef, everybody knows you got to drop some chum for the yellowtail to bring them up. And we drop a couple chum cages. We actually don't use bags at the surface of the water. We use cages that'll go down into the water. That way they kind of bring them back up. We put one about halfway down and then one a little higher. And that way you're kind of spreading the chum out below the boat evenly, and it'll draw them up from the bottom. But there were so many yellowtail on the reef while we're at anchor behind the boat that you could just see them everywhere.
Wow.
And that's a beautiful thing because everybody loves to eat yellowtail snapper.
You're kidding. Wow.
That's sort of the filet mignon of snapper. It's just delicious. So we were eating yellowtail snapper for a week. But yeah, the fishing's been pretty darn good, even in between seasons like this. I'm itching for my first wahoo. I keep trying. Last week I caught a really nice kingfish, and that's usually a pretty good sign that our winter fish are heading down. But yeah, I'm itching for my first wahoo, guys. Carolyn got one. Not fair.
She did.
And earlier we had Mark Reuwer, who fishes with Young Guns, who is our honorary fish made guy and gives us hair care tips because he has beautiful long hair. And we were talking about our wahoo at exactly 7:05, boated 7:08. Kapow!
That's crazy.
Oh,
wow.
3 minutes? You got that fish to the boat, Carolyn?
3 minutes.
You're awesome.
She horsed that
on a planer.
Horsed it in.
Horsed it in on a planer.
Usually those wahoo have such soft palates to their mouths that you have to be really careful about just wrestling them in because you'll pull the hook out. So you got super lucky, girl.
Yeah. Wow.
I was talking to him nice.
Did you brag about your win, honey?
I did brag about the win. I'm going to be posting up pictures with our Publishers Clearinghouse check, and it was great to split it between 7 really deserving people. So next thing we're doing with them, and I haven't told you yet, is a little golf tournament December 4th. So that'll be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you got to love any kind of picture you get with one of those giant Publishers Clearinghouse checks.
The only problem, I tried forcing that in the ATM. It didn't work.
Hey, you can use the mobile banking app and just take a picture of it.
I didn't think about that.
You're going to have a wide angle lens, but that's an option.
Oh, God.
Well, I have to tell you, I took the winnings and I went right to pay for to sponsor hole number 1 at the golf tournament. Get this. So we'll have the Pink Lady and Atlas Trax flag flying, and there's a handsome 6-foot-tall pro golfer that you can pay $20 to hit your first ball, and I'm stuck with him at the hole number 1 for the whole day.
There you go.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, I know, right? I wanted to ask you.
Oh, by the way, he sells fuel for boats.
He sells fuel. Oh, great. Will he deliver to the Keys is the question. Does he go down to the Keys?
I'm sure he will.
We used to have a father and son that did that for the longest time down in the Keys. I can't remember their names, but they came on. They were regulars. I wanted to ask Angelia about I know that you did snorkel a while back. Have you been snorkeling recently?
I have, and the water is definitely cooled down. It won't be long until it gets past my temperature threshold. because I am a true blue Florida girl. I like that bath water, 88-degree water. I'm really spoiled, and I admit it. And we went not yesterday, I'm sorry. We went one of the days last week that it was actually doable, and we did some snorkeling. And you can feel the thermocline so definitively.
Wow.
And everybody should know that the surface of the water is always going to be warmer than the depths. The deeper you go, the cooler the water is going to get. And about the top 4 or 5 feet of water was actually super tolerable for me. And once you got down to past 5, 6 feet, you got into colder water. And down about 15 feet deep, it was a little chilly for me. And I'm on top of being a true blue Florida girl, I'm kind of a naturalist, so I don't really like to wear a wetsuit. I will if I have to, but I don't really enjoy wearing a wetsuit. But down at the bottom, it was a little chilly, guys. It was a good thing it was sunny when you came up. But yeah, the lobster, still some lobster around. We found a ton of undersized ones, just like we did a few weeks back, but a couple keepers, and they're still around a little bit. I have some friends that went out yesterday. I'm still waiting on their lobster report, but the water's beautiful. And with the temperature cooling down, when the water's really, really, really hot down here, when it's 88 degrees like I like it, you get a lot of growth in the water. You get a lot of particles, and a lot of things will grow in that nice warm water. When the water cools down, it gets a clarity that's just beautiful. And we're going to have to ask some kind of expert on how that happens exactly. But the water is so clear right now, and really, really nice. Down here in the lower Keys, there's some of the most epic diving and some really amazing spots to go. Some kind of there's some structure on the bottom down here like I've never experienced in my life. Really, really, really cool bottom down here. Wow. And some of the biggest parrotfish and reef fish and angelfish that you've ever seen in your life. A really cool thing is when we were diving last week, there was a really beautiful black tip shark that I just swam with for about 20 minutes. Wow. And everybody's kind of scared of the sharks, and I have a very strange perspective on it. I feel very blessed and very lucky to be able to swim with a shark like that. If you don't mess with them, they usually won't mess with you. And, shark bites down here are very far and few in between. Just really doesn't happen that much. So I'm not really scared, but I just feel like it's a lucky experience. How many people get to swim in a natural environment with an animal that's just absolutely wild? And it's just a really, really cool experience.
I think part of it is...
And some of the biggest nurse sharks I've ever seen, guys. I'm talking 8-9 foot nurse sharks. They are huge.
I think
nurse sharks don't scare me in the slightest bit, but I actually got spooked by one because I look over my left shoulder and there's like an 8-footer. I'm like, whoa.
Wow. Well, we're rapidly running out of time. I wanted to mention that we have a young lady who comes on every once in a while. Her name is Stephanie Lynn. You can go on Facebook and find pictures of her. She takes pictures with tiger sharks. They're like 12, 13, 14 feet. She takes pictures with alligators. This young lady, I think that she thinks along the line that you do. It's just an honor to be with these creatures, and so because of the vibration she gives off, I guess they don't feel threatened, or they don't look at her as food. They just look at her as, another creature in that perspective. But anyway, we are, gosh, it's all gone. Time is gone. No. I can't believe it.
No.
Anyway, let me, Angelia, if you would, real quick, give out the information if people want to reach you down in the Keys, if they want to go snorkeling or fishing, how are they going to do that?
You can always find me. If you just Google Florida Salty Cowgirl, you will find me. Florida Salty Cowgirl on Facebook. Florida Salty Cowgirl Angela on Instagram, and FloridaSaltyCowgirl.com is up and running. So absolutely, if you're interested in chartering, just get in touch. I've got a lot of people booking right now for the winter months, so
cool.
It's good times.
Excellent. And Carolyn, thank you for being my co-host this morning. Like I say, if you want to protect what you love to the max, this is the young lady you have to talk to, Carolyn, over there at Atlas Trax. Wish you an awesome day, ladies, and to the listeners, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Carolyn, give you an opportunity real quick.
Big hug, Angelia. Don't ever tell me you're pushing off the dock like that again, because I'll come with you.
So long, everybody.